All right, so we move in the eternal cycle of life and death, of darkness and life. So we will continue now with the celebration of shared community. Please feel free to join me. We share today in the memory of those who are part of our lives and of our community. We think of them in the ways we cared for one another. They live on in the lives of everyone they touched. Everyone who retains their memory is a blessing. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families and friends as we reflect on their lives. We may at times feel overwhelmed by feelings of loss and separation. There are moments when sorrow and grief threaten to engulf us. Still, we seek and can find the strength to weather the storms of life. We rejoice in the good memories and express our gratitude for all our blessings. We look to the source of meaning and connection for the light of guidance and support. However we understand the divine, we feel its presence when we come together to remember and to hope, to support one another, and to find sustenance in the power of our community. All right, so we will say the Pueblo blessing together. Please join me. Hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it is a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it is a long way from here. Hold on to life, even when it is easier to let go. Hold on to my hand, even when I have gone away from you. So we'll look at this tree this is a tree on Mount Scopus looking down at Jerusalem. Yes, probably last century. All right, great. So we will turn now to our list of people that we're remembering today. And what I've been doing at the last two meetings that we had, the one at Dinesh and then at Cohen, I invited people to remember as well, folks in their own lives, people who are close to you, family members or friends that you've lost. So at the end of the session, we'll open it up. And anyone that would like to remember someone that wasn't part of the community, this community is here to support you as well. So Lenny Brunswick.
Lenny he lived on the 7th floor. He really wasn't active in the community. He became sick and he got sick. He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'll pull out the microphone for people who would like to say something. It doesn't work? Oh, it's broken. All right, so if you want to share anything about Lenny or anyone else, I'm gonna have to ask you to use your outdoor voice. I'm used to my outdoor voice in here, but not everybody is. All right, so Boris Stam.
Oh, Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my neighbor. He spoke very little English, but it was very nice. His wife was quite ill for a long time, and she passed away. And like about 2 weeks later, his son-in-law died.
Oh,
And he was very down. He used to walk to the Russian store daily. Until all of a sudden I didn't see him going, and then I think he was quite ill. But he had a nice lady coming every day, taking care of him and shopping and cooking. And unfortunately, didn't last very long. But a nice person.
He was a very nice person.
вы поняли, что сказала Джуди, да? Поняли? Ага. Я могу переводить, если это был бы. Но она сказала, что он очень симпатичный такой человек, очень добрый. И хотя он не говорил много, его английский язык не очень силен, но он был такой добрый. Жена его была больная очень долго, наконец она умерла, и сразу после этого умер муж их дочери. Это значит, это много грусти. Но он каждый день ходил туда в магазин, и обратно он был очень активный. И вообще просто очень добрый, хороший человек.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't have any pictures of any of them, do we? 'Cause
No.
I knew some of, I suspect I might have known,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I
would have
don't.
only known them by sight.
Mhm.
We're trying to change that. We're trying to have Jacob go around and take a picture of all of you. Not for this purpose, mind you, but just so in these situations, right? Not these situations, but in a situation where someone says, "Oh, I want you to know that this is happening with this person." Oh, I don't recognize the name. Very often we'll recognize the face.
There's a couple who I haven't seen anymore, and I've been wondering
Whatever happened to the pictures that were taken?
Oh,
Yeah, we had
don't.
pictures.
Oh, Sid, don't even ask. You don't want to know.
Sorry to ask.
But I had pictures taken before. Yeah.
I think it took them 3 times.
Three times.
I remember
They're still here with the
closely.
pictures on.
Twice, we took them twice.
I know.
Okay, следующий. The next one is Dorothy Wojtek. Dorothy Wojtek.
Dorothy was the first person I met when I moved in here. Downstairs, she asked if she could help me. She was a friendly person, a wonderful individual, a nun, a nurse. She was really good, really good.
She was one of the first people I met when I moved in here too, because she did the front desk.
Yeah.
She sat at the front desk, and she formed a bond with my dog Chomsky. And they became really good friends. And when Chomsky was about to have his last day, she was no longer at the front desk anymore, but she made a special a trip down, even though she wasn't feeling good, to say goodbye to him. And I really miss her. I mean, we sat there for a long time. She's a very nice person, very kind.
Yeah, she was very nice. She used to come down every day to the, whenever we had cafe and have lunch in the club room. And also she always returned. She had a sister who lived in Florida. And she spoke about her very nice, very stately, tall.
Yeah.
I think she had a real sense of dignity, and we used to laugh a lot because I teased her because she folded her laundry like I couldn't believe it, and she said it came from the convent where they made it. But we shared a lot, even that around not laundry, but talking about faith and our
Yeah.
different experiences with that. I miss her a lot.
Suzanne.
Jim, I'd also like to say something.
Great, thank you, Tammy.
Dorothy was nursing supervisor at Hebrew Senior Life Roslindale for many years.
In the Russian unit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she, I remember when I first, because she was my neighbor, so we used to visit sometimes, and when she first came and we were introducing each, and she said she had been a nurse, and she said, but I'm not doing that anymore. Don't ask me any questions. But she was very sweet and stately, and I really enjoyed her.
Jean. Actually, Tammy, why don't you go and you can aim it at Jean. And then
Yeah,
Tammy.
Suzanne, Suzanne, thank you for bringing that up. I had the privilege of working with Dottie for probably 10 years in Roslindale, and I can picture her with her extra long white doctor's coat on, nurse's coat. And she was just so giving and generous, and she also had she brought a little cat. So the first floor in Berenson had a cat, Mars cats, that Dottie took care of. She was a wonderful person, a wonderful nurse, and I felt privileged to be able to, you know, stay in touch with her and see her. And I think that her generosity was felt also in her years at Goldman. Miss her.
Jean?
Dorothy was our neighbor on the 10th floor. And when Jim was doing physical therapy and walking up and down the corridor, Dorothy would hear us and she would open the door and give Jim words of encouragement or a cookie or some treat. And it was just, she was so kind, and that was so generous of her.
She loved Abby.
Yeah, I didn't know Dorothy well at all, but I knew her by many of the reputations that have been mentioned here. And specifically, I'll mention Alexandra Dashevskaya, who's the head of the Russian language program at Rosendale. They remained, I think Dottie was a very big mentor for Alexandra, and they remained in touch until the very end of Dorothy's life. And
Dorothy would go to Seder's at her house.
right, that's, yeah,
Very close.
very close friends. And so that was, that always was was something that I really appreciated, how close she and Alexandra were. And obviously, again, they're mutual, sort of mutual emphasis on their faith. Not that their faith was the same, but just that they both were able to talk about those issues very clearly. Anybody else? All right, so we will turn to Diana, better known as Cookie Veracruz.
Cookie was a character, but she had a good heart. And when I used to work in the cafe, she'd come down, grab some snacks or food. And I told her, whenever you don't worry about it, And I just heard recently that she used to go to Temple Beth Zion next door on a regular basis. Yeah, she was a big personality. Well, she was a young woman, relatively speaking, and she was good.
And she had a huge, huge heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was, she really did. Yeah.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
So, right, I thought Cookie was a great person. She would go on Saturdays. We had a lunch every Saturday at next door at TVC, and she would come right from her sports, whatever sport she was doing, and have lunch. And at one point, I suggested that maybe she would want to stop home and change her clothes from her sports clothes. And she did. I mean, she was very respectful. She was very serious about her sports. And yeah, she had a big heart. I really liked her.
Yeah, we want to say a little more about Cookie.
So Cookie left here and was in the hospital for a while, and then she went into rehab for a long while. And they finally found her a group home because of her mental illness. She needed to be in a group home, and she went there and caught COVID and died probably 2 weeks after she got there. Yeah. It was very sad.
That's terrible. And the next person is Tamara Yeletskaya. Если вы знали Пожалуйста, скажите по-русски, я постараюсь переводить.
С Тамарой Елецкой мы познакомились, когда еще в этом доме не жили.
So they met
На
before.
частной квартире.
Okay, they met before they even moved here. They knew Tamara.
Когда мы получили 8-ю программу ваучер, дочь привела меня в этот дом и познакомила с Тамарой и ее мужем. И они сказали, что рекомендуют нам в этот дом, и они нам помогут.
So their daughter, when they were deciding where to move, they came here, they met Tamara and Tamara's husband, and they strongly recommended that Bella and Nikolaj move here and that they would help them, get used to the new community.
И они действительно помогли, потому что мы еще в Америке мало были, обстановку не знали, а тем более, как это оформить, и что это за дом, и что он из себя представляет. Я не понимал.
And they were really a huge help because Nikolaj and Bella had just recently moved to this country, and they really didn't know what was what and how to manage things and what kind of a building was this and what kind of a community was it. So Tamara and her husband were just hugely helpful because Nikolaj just didn't. There were so many things they didn't understand.
Ее муж Лазар Купцин помог мне оформить все документы. Она ему тоже подсказывала и организовала встречу с обслуживающим персоналом. И мы подали заявление, а через какое-то время переехали в этот дом и подружились с ними.
So Lazar, Tamara's husband, even helped them fill out all the forms and all of the and helped meet. I don't know if it was with you or with other people here at CCB to make it possible for them to move, which they did.
Она, Тамара, была образованной, знающей женщиной, но так же, как и мы, очень мало знали английский язык. И поэтому мы как-то сдружились и дружили. Я подружился и с ее мужем, и мы часто с ними общались. Она была очень добрая женщина и всегда была рада помочь.
So she was extremely well educated and very knowledgeable, but like Nikolaj and Bella, she and Lazar didn't have a lot of English. And so it was a very natural friendship that formed, and they would socialize a lot with one another. She was a very kind person and always very willing to help.
Последние годы он умер несколько лет тому назад. Она уже тоже была в возрасте довольно большом и в состоянии уже не очень хорошем, но ей помогала очень много и шефствовала над ней Тамара Румянцева. Они были с одного этажа, и я хочу сказать, и все, наверное, может быть, заметили, как Тамара Румянцева,
Таня Румянцева.
Таня, I'm sorry. Таня Румянцева помогала ей во всем. И, в общем, помогала вообще ей последние годы очень здорово.
So in the last couple of years, unfortunately, Lazard died. And at that point, Tamara was already pretty much in advanced years, and but had a lot of help from Tanya Rumyantseva as well, which Nikolaj said you may have noticed that was the case. And he's very grateful to Tanya for taking such good care of Tamara in her last years.
И незадолго, это где-то в феврале месяце, незадолго до ее кончины, в это время Бела была в реабилитейшн-центр, и ее туда привезли. К сожалению, она меня уже не узнала. Я пытался с ней поговорить, она не понимала, кто ей и чего. И через пару дней она там скончалась в реабилитейшн-центре.
So Nikolaj was saying that it was around in February or so when Bella was actually at the rehab, in the Brighton rehab, and Tamara ended up there as well. Unfortunately, at that point, Tamara was already at a point in her life where she didn't recognize Nikolaj and wasn't able to speak with him, and she ended up dying a couple of days later.
Очень печально, конечно, что не стало ни ее, ни ее мужа не стало. Но у нас в доме, несмотря на то, что практически у нас языка для общения почти что очень слабые возможности. Но у нас есть тут друзья, тут очень хорошие люди живут, тут хорошее руководство этого дома, очень близкие есть друзья. Вот Нея Цесельбаш сидит, Элизабет, забыл фамилию. В общем, у нас есть друзья, с кем мы на очень низком уровне можем пообщаться благодаря тому, что они стараются как-то помочь нам общаться.
So Nikolaj just wanted to say how grateful he is for the fact that even though it's really sad that Tamara is no longer with us and her husband's no longer with us, that they're very grateful for the support of the community, for the support of management, and that they do still have people they can socialize with, of course, not on a very high level of English, but that's mainly because people are so willing to help them and to speak with them, even though their English is not great. Nikolaj and Bill are very, very grateful for that.
И мы благодарим руководство и обслуживающий персонал дома, что помогают нам в общении, помогают нам мероприятиями, которыми проводятся здесь. Это уникальные, я считаю, возможности, потому что тут очень много общественных мероприятий проводится, и очень хорошо для людей. И заботятся о людях, и поэтому, пользуясь возможностью, я в том числе и вот такие, я думаю, не везде такие возможности и мероприятия проводятся. Мы помним своих соседей, мы выполняем свой человеческий долг, мы вспоминаем все коллективно о них, мы рассказываем о них, и за это большое спасибо персоналу, в том числе и вам.
Спасибо, Nikolaj. So Nikolaj was saying that they're also very, grateful to Gail and to all of the maintenance workers for helping them with all the various things they do, and for the events that are held here especially this event, which they imagine this kind of event doesn't happen everywhere, where people can we can remember our neighbors, and we can, as he put it, fulfill our human debt. I think he said something along these lines, right? To remember people and to think about them and to celebrate their lives. And for that, he's very, very grateful. Suzanne, please.
I met Tamara through free food. Couldn't communicate because we didn't speak the same language. But we noticed that we were both wearing the same necklace, the same religious symbol. And so we made that connection. And we kept that connection. So we were friendly even though we couldn't communicate.
Suzanne сказала, что они познакомились во время free food. Не знаю, как сказать. No, no, to say that in Russian particularly. Бесплатная еда. И они заметили друг друга, потому что у них ожерелье с религиозными символами. И хотя они не могли болтать, потому что по-русски и по-английски, но была такая связь. Anybody else? Okay. Sylvia Axelrod.
So Sylvia Axelrod lived here for a couple of years. She was very, very big into
Nami.
NAMI, but there was,
I know she was executive director of.
okay, so yeah, then it was NAMI. I thought it was like the Red Cross or something.
No, it was Nami.
Very big
I
into
met her
NAMI.
twice, I think.
Yep,
And she was moving back and forth.
exactly. That's what I was
trying
gonna
to
say.
Get herself established and
Yeah.
set them up. And then I lost track of her because she was just never in any one place at one time.
Exactly. Where was she from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah,
So she was like the executive director of NAMI there.
NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Mhm. And she was very big into that, but she decided that she was gonna come to Brookline to be near her son. But then they couldn't let her go because she just was so good at what she did. So she was back and forth and back and forth. And then finally did retire from there and came here and was good for a while, but then got sick. And yeah. So she was on the 12th floor. Yeah.
Anyone else remember Sylvia? Let's wait a moment on that one. We'll go to Sue Ashdown, Agnes.
She was lovely. She was very elegant. I used to love to hear her talk to her husband and him back to her. It was the closest thing we got to the crown.
It was so English.
Yeah.
I know wonderful stories.
So let's go to Mimi.
I spent some time with her when Charles asked me to photograph their cat, so we had to hang out for a while. But her devotion to the cat and Charles was, like off the charts.
She was very sweet woman. She's every time, and they went on so many trips. I was surprised they were, and they stuck together. What a nice couple.
They used to come down to the lunch, where we had lunch on noon, maybe a couple times during the week. We chat.
Yeah.
Someone over here wanted to say? Yeah, please.
I met Sue the first year I was here too. And again, it was through Chomsky, my dog. And she took a liking to Chomsky, and then we became friendly, and she'd invite me over for tea. Very English thing to do. And she was just a very sweet, wonderful woman. And, you know, so we became very friendly, and I just was very sad when, you know, I found out she, you know, was not going to be able to remember things anymore. And so, but she was very, very wonderful sense of humor. And like I said, she invited me in, and I listened to Charles talk about his adventures. And so it was a very enriching experience meeting them. And again, Chomsky, the ambassador, my dog, my previous dog.
Gail, where is Charles now?
Chestnut Park. So
At
they
Cleveland
moved,
Circle.
like, say they moved on a Wednesday,
Right.
and she passed away like the following Sunday.
Wow.
Wow. Where's Chestnut Park?
Cleveland
Chestnut Hill,
Circle.
isn't it? Yeah.
Chestnut Park, right? The one it's Cleveland Circle.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's assisted living. Apparently, she was on the memory unit. But she's been on hospice for quite a while, but she was tough.
She was in the military.
Exactly.
They were both in the military.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, Sue and Charles were some of the people that we met before we moved in here. They used to regularly visit my mom, which was very nice because my mom was not in good shape in those days, and it was greatly appreciated. Sue was obviously somewhat more reserved than Charles, but yeah, very generous. They invited us for tea also, got to meet their cat. And one thing that I didn't find out until years later was, I knew they were a military couple. What I did not realize was that Sue was an officer and had to give up her rank or position, leave the army to marry Charles, because that's the way it was in those days.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
That's amazing.
Very devoted.
I hope, yeah, she was devoted, that's for sure.
We just hope Charles understood how much.
Well,
He did
Charles
because,
definitely
yeah,
understood. Yeah, he knew.
he absolutely knew,
Yeah.
because he wasn't letting her out of his sight no matter what.
Mm.
Because he basically took care of her,
Mm.
you know, at the end, and he wasn't getting the care that he needed because he was caring for her, so very devoted. Yeah.
Okay. So we will now remember Dolly Wax. And let's see if we can change this a little bit so we can make we can see Bernie's face. Sorry, everybody. It'll take me a second to do this. There we go. Okay.
I'm here.
Great. So why don't you start, Bernie? If you'd
I
like.
have family here also.
Wonderful. So they can remember people as well. And here, good. Jacob is putting it so that you can see more of the crowd. You can't see everybody because we only, it's just a camera, but we have a large number of people here to.
Yeah, I recognize the group for the most part, however small they are. I assume you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Good. Miss you guys.
Yeah, we miss
We
you.
miss you too.
Although I must confess, my weather is now 81 degrees.
Yeah.
So I'll tempt you with coming to visit Phoenix.
There we go. There we go. It's only 56 here, but it feels more than.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful
here.
today. Oh my gosh, what a day. What a day.
Well, you guys can pretend it's autumn.
All right, so maybe why don't we'll people can share their memories of Dolly, and then Bernie, you can respond, and if some of your family would like to say something with that, they would obviously be welcome to.
Oh, I'm sure I have a group of daughters here and a son who will shout out
Great.
their
So
mother.
let's start with Sid.
she used to love to come to the sing-along and sing the old songs from way back when. And Bernie would come with her and I hope they would enjoy it themselves, but
Yeah.
but especially later on when she was really needing some remembrance of the old stuff. It was very, very enjoyable.
That's wonderful. Go ahead, Connie.
So I remember when Dolly and Bernie moved in here, because remember, we knew them for so many years. And that's one of the reasons that they moved in here. Dolly was a sweet, engaging, friendly, sociable person. She was always up for an adventure. She was also a voracious reader. She was a great cook. They belonged to a gourmet club, which met monthly and taking turns with their gourmet food. She participated in exercise class also, as well as sing along. And she and Bernie loved to sit out in front of that bench in the sun, which I understand they're going to dedicate in Dolly's memory. But I think that they loved being here until it was time to move to Phoenix, Arizona. I miss them very much, miss Dolly, because we love to go shopping in outlet malls. That was our big thing. That's it.
That's great. Thank you, Connie. Go ahead, Ruth.
I met Dolly after I moved here. I moved here on a Friday. They moved in. I was a 5B. She said, "Oh, we looked at that, but we took where we are now because they had one more closet." So we were kind of intertwined. And I would see her. I can't even. I wrote Bernie a note. I walk out of my apartment and there were Bernie and Dolly sitting in the sun out in the hallway. It was always lovely. And it amazed me that I never knew her before because we had so much in common. And she was a lovely, lovely woman. I wish that I had known her shopping because I love to shop. And she was a lovely woman and I miss her very, very much. And I miss you too, Bernie. We all miss you. We all do.
Anybody else? Okay, please.
I haven't been here that long, but my memory of Dolly is a smile. And seeing her and Bernie sitting on their bench, and I'm glad they're gonna dedicate it. I think it was their bench. And my friend Paul, who doesn't live here, but would often drop me off or pick me up and everything, would make a point of going over and talking to Dolly and Bernie, and he would quite often send me a message on text or when I saw him, "How's Dolly doing? How's Dolly?" So that smile got way out of the building, and I miss you too.
Yeah, you want to say something? No.
No. Except, well, yeah.
Yeah, you do. I knew you.
Except Bernie, you're getting very, very tan there. I can see it. It's just- And we miss you.
So Bernie, would you like to add anything to the group? I'll turn the camera around again so you can see the group.
We had even though we were only with you guys for about 5 years, it was really a nice transition from living across the street, although I had come over to visit with you at your building, or our building, numerous times to participate. And we really appreciated the friendship that everybody had shown to us. Now, we and the Adlers came exactly the same day and there was a special bond because Bernie's name was the same as mine. And we actually borrowed a corkscrew from them at one point when we lived across the street, and we carried over that friendship even into the building until Ruth decided to abscond and go and live with her family. But we've made close friends with the family as well. And so we enjoyed that aspect of expanding our friendships to include a lot of different people, as well as those who resided in 1550. And I also have remembrance of donating a Sports Illustrated magazine to a certain member of their group sitting over there. And I haven't heard a word of appreciation from him. No, and I will hold it against you, Ron, for a long period of time. And I wanted to tell you that at least we have to really finalize it with Gail, but I wanted to dedicate not only I, but my family. I wanted to dedicate our bench.
Yes.
Not yours, Ben. It wasn't your bench. It was ours. And so maybe in the fall when we come back to Brookline for bar mitzvah of one of our relatives, we would like to do that and have a lot of ice cream and balloons at that time. I can't promise you the balloons, but I certainly can promise you the ice cream.
We can manage the balloons if you can.
Okay, tell Gail that. That's the important thing.
Gail won't do it. I'll have to do it.
The job description.
I'm dispensing with authority now to anybody who wants to participate. You see me or hear me, and certainly my kids will be around to take charge of the session. I'm going to bring my two daughters in, my son who lives in Watertown. So we expect to be part of the community, if only for one day or more. But you may get us for 2 or 3 days if there's a long bar mitzvah celebration. And of course, coming back in September would be great to see autumn once again, because you ain't going to see it here in Phoenix. And although I can say that it's 81 degrees right now, I do look forward to times when it gets down to 50 or 55.
Yeah.
And we miss you.
Thank you, Bernie. It's so good to
We
see
miss you a great deal.
Yeah, we really
We
do.
miss you too.
So you will take care of yourselves.
We will. We promise.
Yeah, the best thing of all is not to fall. I'm
Keep moving,
serious
don't
about
fall.
that. I'm very serious about that. I've warned Connie, and what does she do? She falls. And you see the brace around my neck? I have a permanent fixture now, and it relieves me the responsibility of wearing a necktie for the rest of my life. And I have 3 versions of it, by the way. One I wear in the shower, one when I wear to go to bed, and now this more attractive one, which does make the problem of not wearing a necktie much easier than the others. And I expect to be honored by the fact that there seems to be some kind of jewelry right here at the top, which be in just the way Dolly would want it. So you guys, take care of yourselves. We'll look forward to you in the fall.
Good.
Okay.
You stay well.
Happy
Bye-bye.
birthday.
Thank you. Finally made it.
So we will
Bye-bye.
Bye. So we move that, and then we'll do this. Right, and so we will turn now to singing. Oops, this is not what I want. So we'll sing a final song. I know we're at time, but I think it was great to be able to hear from Bernie. So if you need to run, please do not feel like you need to stay. But I did want to sing did want to sing with you. If you are up for singing, please join me. And thank you everyone and I did promise that if people wanted to mention their own losses, but we did run a little late, so I'm hoping it's okay. And then let's sing the song, and if people would like to stay and share, I'm happy to stick around, but people might need to get going. At the rising of the sun, and in its going down, we remember them. We remember them in the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter. We remember them. We remember them in the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring. We remember them. We remember them in the shining of the sun and the warmth of summer. We remember them. We remember them in the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn. We remember them. We remember them, the beginning of the year and in the year's end. We remember them. We remember them when we are weary and in need of strength. We remember them. We remember them when we're lost and sick at heart. We remember them. We remember them when we have joy that we yearn to share. We remember them. We remember them so long as they will, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them, as we remember them. And so long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them, as we remember them. All right, thank you, everybody. And if you'd like to stick around, please feel free.
I have a friend, but you really don't.